While the world is occupied by the ongoing war between Iran, US, and Israel, a quieter but equally significant shift is happening in the heart of Asia. In 2026, as Pakistan and the Afghanistan Taliban moved from border skirmishes to open war, China did something it rarely does. It stepped out from the shadows to become the mediator. But this isn't a story about a peace-loving neighbor. This is about a story about the accountant's peace. To understand this, why China mediating Pakistan-Afghanistan war, you have to look past the diplomacy and into the cold, calculative motives of a superpower. The primary motive is simple: CPEC, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is the crown jewel of China's global belt and their road initiative. For a decade, Beijing has poured $65 billion into road and power plants in the strategic Gwadar port. When Pakistan launched Operation Ghazal-Lil-Haq in February 2026, it didn't just hit the military target, it paralyzed the very trade routes China spent billions to build. To Beijing, this war isn't a tragedy, it's a massive return on investment failure. They are mediating because you can't run a global trade corridor through a battlefield. China's second motive is domestic security. Beijing is terrified that a chaotic border will turn into a sanctuary for the East Turkestan Islamic Movement (ETIM), which is a violent militant organization looking to establish an Islamic state in Xinjiang, China. By bringing the Taliban and Pakistan into the table, China is effectively building a human firewall. They are telling the Taliban, and I quote, "We will give you the diplomacy you need, but only if you hunt down our enemies." For China, this mediation isn't just a transaction, economic aid in exchange for a terrorism-free Western frontier. Then there is the lithium prize. As the world moves toward electric vehicles, Afghanistan's $1 trillion in untapped mineral wealth, specifically the lithium and the copper, has become the ultimate strategic target. In 2025, Afghanistan was formally integrated into the Belt and Road framework. But you cannot mine a mountain range if the supply lines through Pakistan are being attacked. China is mediating to create the stability required to turn Afghanistan into a resource both for Chinese hub industry. And finally, there is the motive of dominance. With Western influence in the region at an all-time low, China is using the conflict to prove it is the only adult in the room. If Beijing can solve the Durand Line dispute, a border problem that has defeated every empire from the British to the Americans, they prove that the Chinese model of diplomacy is now the dominant force in Asia. They aren't just ending a war, they are auditioning to be the new manager of the continent. At the moment, China says its goal of regional stability. But the talks continue. In April 2026, it's becoming clear that Beijing's version of peace is one where trade flows, minerals are extracted, and militants are suppressed, all under the watchful eyes of the Chinese management. If you like this breakdown, do let us know in the comments below.